Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Destiny video. And in this video I want to speak about some of the other stuff shown during today's Bungie livestream. Today's focus was of course the revamped Cosmodrome. It is covered in snow, the Devil Splices of course have been in and started slicing the place up, making it their home, doing loads of crazy stuff. It started to be infected by CV. You can see all these kind of crazy red like wires and tentacles and whatever you want to call them, coming out of different parts of the buildings. So today's focus was of course on an area that we had seen before. We did get a few glimpses into places we haven't quite been before, but of course today's focus wasn't necessarily on going to new areas. I imagine that's something that will show further down the line, but for the time being it was still cool to see an area that we hadn't seen before, all covered in snow, all like, redone and whatnot, and it definitely, in my opinion, brought some life back into it because I've always been a massive fan of snowy environments. I've always been one of those people that thought, if ever I can go to an area where there is snow, it's just like an instant win for me. So this was kind of cool to see anyway. But during this live stream, they also showed a few other things. So we got a look at some new gear. We also got a super quick glimpse at the menu, which potentially hinted at a new max light level, potentially 355, and I'll speak about that again in a minute. And of course we also got a look at some new enemy types and a couple of other things too. So in this video I want to focus primarily on the Cosmodrome, the new gear and the light. So let's start with light. During the live stream there was a part where, rather comically and accidentally, Deej actually drove off the edge, and because it's a dev environment there wasn't actually a kill volume, which meant that he didn't die. So after respawning he had to of course redo his controls and go back to inverted because that's how he plays, but by bringing up the menu you got to see his player card, and up in the top right hand corner you can see that his light was 355. Now if you remember back to the very first Rise of Iron reveal stream, they stated during that one that they were still dialing in and sort of fine-tuning light. They said they hadn't worked out exactly what the cap was going to be. Now it's entirely possible that this is not the cap, this could just be an arbitrary value that is suitable for the content they were actually in. It could well go higher, it could go up to 380, 400, who knows. But for the time being, 355 is the highest number we've seen to date. Of course, 335 is the current cap, so 355 wouldn't be a massive jump, and they did of course say that Rise of Iron would introduce a significant light boost, so I would hazard a guess that this is probably some sort of interim value, but for the time being, that is the highest we've got to see. So there's not really much more to talk about with that one because, short of plucking random numbers out of the sky, there's really no evidence to sort of indicate anything other than that. So, moving on from there, if we then jump over to take a look at the gear, they of course have the usual team synergy, 1 Hunter, 1 Titan and 1 Warlock. So if we start off with the Hunter, they started the live stream after the talk about the Yellowing by spinning around the characters, and this is what I'm going to assume is the new Vanguard gear because there aren't any sort of faction symbols, there's no like new monarchy symbols or dead orbit on them or anything like that. So I'm going to assume this is the sort of stuff you'll get from the Vanguard vendor, but as you spin around, this is really cool, this sort of like white and lime green gear. I'm definitely a fan of that helmet as well. Of course, you can't really see the whole thing obscured under the hood, but as someone that wears Taniks's cloak, I think that does look super cool. I definitely sort of want to see what it looks like with the hood down. And also you can see he's wearing, on the back of him, he has a new Dead Orbit shotgun. And as for his primary, that is what I believe to be another Vanguard weapon, and that's going to be a scout rifle, because again, when they do these demonstrations, they always have these things in pairs. So the Warlock, the one you can see here, is rocking a pulse rifle, the Titan has the assault rifle, so that by process of elimination would be a scout rifle. Then moving over to the Titan, this is the brand new Titan New Monarchy gear. You can see that there are plenty of new monarchy symbols all over this, so it's pretty easy to work out exactly what this is. Of course, the actual shape is not necessarily something new. We have sort of seen this kind of blocky Titan armor design before, but either way, it's definitely a new sort of color scheme, and you can see the brand new Titan mark hanging down there as well. And he also has an assault rifle, one of the Suros assault rifles with Siva branding on the side of it. And then as for the Warlock, jumping here or dancing here, again with the new Dead Orbit shotgun on the background. And then this, I'm going to hazard a guess, could either be the new Vanguard gear once again, or it could be the new Chroma gear. It does look like it's glowing in certain aspects. I definitely really like their helmet. It's very, very sort of basic, but in like a really, really cool way, almost like a Daft Punk style helmet, but either way, that is pretty cool. And if we jump into some of the gameplay as well, you can see that this pulse rifle, this is the one that the Warlock was using, the weapon that Deej was using. I'm really liking that sort of orange and blue colour scheme. And if we jump forward to the point where they switch to the Titan, you can see when they bring up the assault rifle, there's a brand new sight here as well. And while we're on the topic of the assault rifle, interesting thing, if I jump back and freeze frame here for a second, you can see that firstly this is a Suros assault rifle, but it clearly has a Siva symbol on the side with the sort of burnt holes in it. Now bear in mind that Siva is a technological plague, it's like a self-replicating thing, so to speak. And this is not the first gun that we've seen like this. If you look at this image, this is something we saw a few weeks back actually. and it's an Omolon scout rifle, again with this sort of like SATAIII branding on it, these red cables that are sort of like, you know, circling around it. Whether that's just like a regular legendary, whether that's an exotic, will remain to be seen. But the point is, this is not the first time we've sort of seen these weapon foundries being remastered or remade, so to speak, because these new Fallen splicers are all about, you know, modifying not only themselves and using SATAIII to try and, you know, enhance things and make things, you know, better, more powerful, and all that kind of stuff like that. So I guess in the narrative they might have, you know, found these weapons from potentially Fallen Guardians or things like that, and then, you know, grabbed them, reworked them, tried to, you know, make them more powerful. Who knows? Who knows the narrative behind it? I'm sure we will find out. But given that this is the first time seeing a Suros SATAIII weapon, and of course we've seen an Omolon one, it's entirely possible that we might sort of see the same for Haka, and also that new foundry that they're going to be introducing called Nadir. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, but that is just sort of something I thought I'd add in there, speaking about this weapon. So finally, the last thing is just sort of some generic gameplay I want to show you guys in the background of the Cosmodrome. We of course got to look at some areas we know very well. So this first area is typically where, in fact in the past, if you jump down here you'd actually die, but now that the snow has fallen and it's created the ground, you can actually go all the way down there. You can then start working your way through. Do bear in mind in this tunnel, this lighting section is actually bugged, so it won't actually look like that kind of crazy luminescent sort of thing. And then of course as you work your way out, you get into this open area where there's the Fallen Devil tank, the Devil Walker in the front, in the middle, and there are some sort of patrol nodes around here as well. So I would imagine there are some sort of SATAIII inspired patrols, but I will speak more about those in a future video. Then of course we jump back over to here, and this area here is one that you should be very familiar with. However, this wall is something that we've never normally seen passed before. Unfortunately, they weren't going to go too far in there because of course that leads into something they want to talk about later. We did get a little glimpse inside. Of course you can see lots of devil splicers, you can see sort of SATAIII stuff coming out of it. Really, really cool. But of course this was definitely a tease because they said that they're going to be talking about the Plaguelands at a later date. We did get a concept shot of the Plaguelands, but unfortunately we don't really have much more than that. So that is pretty much it for this video. A couple of other things worth mentioning for those of you guys on Xbox One wondering when exactly you will be able to pre-order. They did say that you'll be able to do that very soon. They didn't give us an exact date, but they did say soon. And also the next time that Bungie are going to do any sort of live reveal stream is at Gamescom. Now Gamescom is in August, the 17th to the 21st. So 17th being the press day, I imagine that's when like a lot of the announcements will happen. And they did mention that their focus of Gamescom will be Crucible. It's kind of like what they did last year with the Taken King. They had a couple of new Crucible game modes playable there, and of course they had some pre-made characters with some new gear, some new weapons and all that stuff like that. So of course that will be on the show floor, I would imagine, for people to go hands-on with, which means we'll get a really good look at some of the new stuff, and of course the new Crucible stuff they're working on too. So put that date in your calendar. I will personally be over at Gamescom, so I'll definitely try and get you guys all the information possible. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about, and that is, this popped up just after the live stream. It seems like it came through to a variety of different people's emails, and this talks briefly about the PlayStation exclusive content, which up until now is something that we didn't obviously know about. We know that every single time an update comes out there is PlayStation exclusive content, given the partnership and whatnot, but they hadn't announced exactly what that was just yet. So you can see here in this picture, if we zoom right in, this is an exclusive ship, which I've got to admit does look really cool. I mean, I know the ships don't really do much, so, you know, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. It does still look pretty cool, obviously in a PlayStation Blue, so that is slightly jilly about that. I won't mind so much if it exists in game in maybe a different colour, but if that is fully exclusive, then, you know, I might be a little bit sad. But either way, on top of that, you also get a multiplayer map and a unique questline and reward. Now, it could well be that that reward is the ship, but I would kind of hope that it would be something slightly more substantial. Not that I am, you know, in favour of console exclusives, but at the same time, if you're going to have it, then hopefully it's something more substantial than a ship that just sits on a loading screen. Of course, down below then it says the Ultimate Destiny experience is only on PlayStation. But that is basically all they've shown for now. Again, I imagine we'll get some more details on that very soon, or probably something that will drop on PlayStation's YouTube channel. Anyway, that is pretty much it from me. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm really keen to sort of see what you guys thought of the live stream. I appreciate that this was largely content we've seen before. I mean, you know, it's not exactly a new area. It is nice to sort of see it get an overhaul because, as mentioned, I am a massive fan of snowy environments, so seeing that is pretty cool. And it's definitely a way to get us excited for stuff coming soon. Bungie definitely know how to tease stuff really, really well. I definitely want to know what's behind that door. But either way, it'd be really cool to hear what you guys think. What do you think about, you know, some of the new gear, some of the new weapons, some of the Cosmodrome stuff, and of course some of the potential that that gives us going forward. Either way, that's it. If you guys missed any of the information surrounding the Iron Yalla wing, which is the other pre-order bonus that goes alongside the Iron Yalla horn, then there is a video over on the channel. You can go and check that one out. I'll link it down below as well. There's a little bit more to it than just pre-ordering, so definitely some information you guys might want to bear in mind if you haven't already seen it. But thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and also make sure you keep it locked to the channel because I've got many more Destiny videos coming over the next few days. There's a lot more stuff I want to talk about from the live stream, so there will be plenty of videos coming your way. Thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.